Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new School of Data Skillshare. My name is Marco, and I work as the program manager for School of Data. School of Data is a project and a community of change makers who empowers journalists, civil society organizations, and citizens to make use of data. And part of this work, we produce a series of video Skillshares run by the members of our fellowship program around various tools, methodologies, and aspects of data literacy. They join our growing body of learning material that you can find on our website on schoolofdata.org. Today, our speaker will be Sheena Opulencia, our fellow from the Philippines. She's actually in the Philippines right now, and she will introduce herself before talking about our main subject, which is the Kobo Toolbox, a great tool to do data collection with your mobile devices, especially if you are in different areas and you need to do collection in different aspects and then centralize on a central location. But Sheena will tell us more about this. Off you go, Sheena. Thank you for joining us today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Sheena Opulencia from the Philippines. So I think it's good afternoon or good morning to most of you, but for me, it's already 9:30 in the evening, but I'm glad to be sharing this very useful tool to everybody. So I'm going to talk to you about the Kobo Toolbox. So maybe just to give everybody an overview of what Kobo Toolbox is all about. We have been using Kobo Toolbox in gathering data during emergencies here in the Philippines. And we have been using this especially when we want to gather data from areas which are hard to reach areas, and when we have to do a huge amount of data and we can't get it or get enumerators to do it, we use the Kobo Toolbox as a mobile data collection device. So today we're just going to talk about the basics of Kobo Toolbox. So just to give everybody an outline of what we're going to discuss today, I'm going to give you a brief introduction about what Kobo Toolbox is all about. Who is it for? Who is the target audience if we're going to use Kobo Toolbox? How do you create your form online? There's also an option to do your forms offline, but we'll save that online module. And also use your form online or offline. And then I'm just going to cite the sources and references. So what is Kobo Toolbox? Well, basically, Kobo Toolbox is a suite of tools for field data collection, which you can use with your mobile devices and laptops. For those of you who are used to or have used Open Data Kit, it's actually a bit similar. Well, Open Data Kit is a de facto open source mobile data collection tool as well. But I guess the only difference between Kobo Toolbox and Open Data Kit is that Kobo Toolbox was specifically designed for humanitarian agencies and humanitarian actors. And it was actually developed by Harvard Humanitarian Initiative. So similar to Open Data Kit, Kobo Toolbox allows you to create forms, and you can actually use them on your mobile devices, as it creates offline or online database of your form responses. So once you create your forms using Kobo Toolbox, it actually creates an online server if you're using the online account. And if you're going to download the Kobo server on your desktop or laptops, it will create a desktop server on your laptops. So for purposes
Sheena, are you there?
of this point of
I think
basically your account.
Sheena, can you go back a bit for the start of this slide? Because I think we lost some of your connection there. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I.
Okay, great. Can you start from this slide again? I think there was a problem in the connection. No, the next one. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about. Okay, toolbox is a bit similar to Open Data Kit for those of you who have already used Open Data Kit. It's a suite of tools for field data collection, which you can use with your mobile devices and laptops. And similar to ODK, it's also a mobile data collection tool. And it allows you to create forms, and you can actually use them on your mobile devices. So you can use it offline or online because it actually creates a database on your online Kobo Toolbox account. Or if you're going to download the Kobo server, it will also create a server on your desktop or laptops. So for purposes of our Skillshare, we're just going to focus on the online Kobo Toolbox account. So first, you have to create an account in their website. So it's kobo.humanitarianresponse.info. For humanitarian organizations, because this is developed by Harvard Humanitarian Initiative, it actually allows unlimited use, and it also encourages researchers, aid workers, and everyone else to use the Kobo Toolbox. So basically, it's for anyone who needs based data collections, but it's actually being used by students, journalists, government staff, humanitarian, and development actors. Earlier, I guess the only difference between the ODK platform and Kobo Toolbox is that it provides unlimited server space to humanitarian organizations because when it was developed in September 2014, the main idea was to encourage humanitarian organizations to use it on post-disaster response. So if you have not used ODK before, Kobo Toolbox is a good tool to use if you want to start. So for now, we're going to discuss about how you can create your form online. If you have already created your Kobo Toolbox account, you can go straight to your Kobo Toolbox account. So this is how the online interface looks like for Kobo Toolbox. So you can actually see the forms that you have created, if you have any, a question library, which allows you to save all the questions that you have. You can also see all the projects that you have made. So I'll show you some of the projects that I have done before for my work. So these are the projects that I have created, but most of these projects I have created by doing an offline form, which you can see in the module that I have created, and it's available in School of Data blogs, and the settings, and of course, if you want to sign out. So we're just going to do our forms using the online form builder of Kobo Toolbox. First, I would suggest for everybody to draft your forms using Excel or Word, and you already determined the answers that you want to be answered in your online form. So we click on Add Form and then select Start from Scratch. And by doing this, it actually gives you an opportunity to select what kind of questions you want to ask. So you can have a single option question, or you can have questions which are answerable with numbers or text. It can be date, time, or you can also post or include photos on your form or videos, or even the geolocation of the areas where you're collecting data from. So let's start. So you just have to determine the name of the form that you want to use. It's very important that you create a unique name for your forms, because once you already have several forms and you're using the same name for each of the form, Kobo Toolbox will not it will not identify the form that you're trying to use if you have similar forms. So let's try one of the questions. So for example, we want to identify person's name or the name of the enumerator. And maybe we'd like to know when is their date of birth. So we choose date. Maybe we would like to know how old the person is or what is his or her age. Maybe we'd also like to know where they're located right now. So we can select GPS and then the location. And then we can build another question. So for example, we want to create a question on their educational background. So, or education. So, here in the Philippines, we call it high school. And then we have college. Or OC. Option. If you want. So maybe just as an example, you can save the form. And then once you have saved your form, you can deploy the form as a new survey project. So that means once you have deployed your form, you can already use it on your mobile device. Okay. So this is how your form would look like on your Kobo Toolbox account. So next, what we're going to is how your form mobile device. So first off, you would need to download
Sheena, you're still there? I think there's a problem in the connection. Are you still there?
you're using your app to download. Marco?
Yeah, now you're back. Can you go back a little bit and
Yeah.
start this part again, please?
Okay. Which part?
After you moved from the Kobo Toolbox on the web and you got back into the presentation, can you start that part again?
Okay. But you've already seen how to deploy the form as a new survey project?
Yeah, you can show that again.
Okay. So once you have created your form, so it will appear on your form draft. So this is how it looks like. And then you would need to click Deploy Form as a new survey project. And then you would need to select based on the new project.
Okay.
Okay, so since I've already deployed it, you can already mobile to about how you're going to use your forms on your mobile device. So I guess of Kobo Toolbox is that you can only use it on an Android. So if you're using iPhones, it's not going to work. But there's an alternative discuss. So once you have already installed Kobo Collect on your Android device, this is how it looks like. And this is how your Kobo Collect application would look like on your mobile device. Okay. First, you need to change the general settings on your Kobo Collect form or Kobo Collect application. You need to check Kobo Collect app. So it's very important to remember the using Kobo Toolbox account because that would determine where the forms would be sourced out from your Kobo Toolbox account. So in this case, I'm using my personal account, and then also kctarianresponse.info username collecting. So once you have placed the URL, you can go back to the main page of your Kobo Collect form, and then you have to click Get Blank Form. So these are the forms that I have created using my Kobo Toolbox account. So for purposes of our Skillshare, the form that we have. So this is the test form. To send it. Okay. And then you choose fill blank form. And you choose the form that you want to use. To go through your form, you need to swipe the form on your mobile device, and then you can start filling up the form. So, for example, type in the data using the date of birth. So, for example, it's November. You swipe it again. Then you put your age, and then you can actually record your location. Now, you can only record your location if you have a good internet access on your mobile device. Otherwise, it's not going to allow you to record your exact geolocation. Now, would rather put in the city name or the municipality name or the provincial name. So it's easier for them to collect the data rather than using. If you're already sure about your responses, you would need to make sure that mark form as finalized is checked. Otherwise, you can uncheck it and then just simply save the form and exit. Now, the beauty of Kobo Toolbox, Kobo Collect in particular, and even ODK, is that even when you're offline, if you don't have any access, you can save the forms that you have answered on your mobile device, and you will see them in edit saved form. So I choose test. So this was the form that we have answered earlier, and it's still here. So if I want to edit anything on my form, I can do it here. Otherwise, I can just go back to it or check if I have answered them correctly. And then do the same thing again of checking mark form as finalized. You can also change the name of the form on your mobile device if you have multiple forms, and then save form and exit. But the thing is, even though you've already saved your form, you're not yet sure if you were able to send it when you're online or offline. So you can click on Send Finalized Form and select the form which you have filled out. And once you have selected it and you click Send Selected, it will automatically go to your server. So how do we know if we have submitted the forms? You go back to your Kobo Toolbox account, and then you click on Test or the form that you have used. And then you just look if you have any submissions on your forms. So as you can see, this is the form that we have answered. So that's the test. And we have one submission using the form that we have used. So some people would, if you have several data already on your server, you can click on View Data Table, and then it will show you all the responses that you have received on your form. And then you can just go back to your project. Now, as I've said earlier, Kobo Toolbox can only be used if you are using an Android device. Now, there's an opportunity for you to use it if you don't have an Android device or if you're using iPhone. And one of these options is Kobo Toolbox creates an online link to the form that you have created. So you just simply click enter data, show you the online version you have created. I just share the link to friends who are using iPhone, or if they don't have a mobile device and they would like to answer the form using their laptop. So we just give them the links to the online form, and you can answer it the same way. So once you answer it using the online form, then you can select your location. So it gives you the exact GPS coordinates. Then you can choose your answer. You can save it as a draft or you can submit it directly. But again, you would need internet access if you want to submit it directly. So we click Submit. And we can go back to the form, to your online account. And once you refresh it, you will see that you already have 2 submissions. Now, we really promote the use of Kobo Toolbox, especially in areas where they would need real-time monitoring and real-time data collection. So as you can see, because I included the GPS coordinates in my form, it also created GPS points in my account, and you can also download the GPS points from your Kobo Toolbox account. So basically, that's how you use Kobo Toolbox. And if you have additional questions about how you can use Kobo Toolbox, you can visit Open Data Kit, or you can also visit Geographical Open Data Kit, goodk.com. You can also visit Kobo Toolbox directly. Also, read my online module in the School of Data blog. So thank you, everyone. If you have questions, I'll be very happy to answer them.
Oh, I have one question, Sheena. Thank you for your
Sure.
presentation. Can you tell us some examples where you used Kobo Toolbox, where it's been useful for you in your work?
Yeah. Well, currently in the work that I am doing, we are trying to collect data from different areas across the Philippines. And whenever we collect data, it's very difficult for us to ensure that people are sending their data on time. So we have trained government officials to use Kobo Toolbox on their mobile devices, so they can now send data like how many barangays or villages are not openly defecating in their communities using their mobile devices. And for us, it's a huge thing because not all of them have access to laptops, but they have access to smartphones. So it's easier for them to submit these reports using their smartphones rather than um, making a paper form and then submitting it, or going online using their laptops and submitting it to their supervisor. So it's easier for them that way.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Any other kind of work that you did before with Kobo Toolbox? I mean, data collection in the Philippines, or any projects you might use it?
After Typhoon Haiyan, we realized that it was very important to have forms that you can easily use when you go to the field. So after that typhoon, I developed a rapid needs assessment form using Kobo Toolbox. And then we shared it to all our partners. And then once we have shared it with our partners, they were able to use it when they did a rapid needs assessment in the communities that was affected by another typhoon. So the good thing about it is, even though it was difficult for them to like get a really good internet connection, they were able to save all the forms that they have completed, even though they were on the field. And once they got good internet connection, they sent all the forms that they have created, and we were able to get all their assessment forms on time before our meeting. So it was very useful for us.
Yeah, yeah, this is great. Thank you so much, Sheena, for this Skillshare. And I think it's a great tool to do data collection on the go, because sometimes use paper is not feasible anymore, right? And I think in the past, people use also pound tops and other technologies like that, but nowadays we can use Android phones or smartphones to do it. So I think it's a great tool. And I think it was great that you mentioned that people can check out your module on the School of Data website as well, because there's like a full course if people want to understand how to use Kobo Toolbox. It's a great resource that you produced. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, and stay tuned for more Skillshares here in our YouTube channel and the School of Data website. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.